Sports stars react as Venus Williams shares wedding photos from second ceremony. Venus Williams married Italian actor-model Andrea Preti in a second ceremony, at home in Palm Beach, receiving a standout wedding gift from sister Serena. When Venus Williams shared photos on Instagram of her second wedding to Italian actor and model Andrea Preti on Tuesday, December 23, the congratulatory comments on the post revealed the seven-time tennis Grand Slam singles champion's appeal across generations, sports, and nations. Fellow tennis stars such as current player and compatriot Coco Gauff, a two-time singles Grand Slam winner and selected for 2 Olympic Games, and former French rival, Mary Pierce, also a two-time major winner and 3-time Olympian, dropped some heart emojis in the comments. Additional U.S. sports stars who sent well wishes include former artistic gymnast and Beijing 2008 women's all-around champion Nastia Liukin and retired athletics superstar and International Olympic Committee Athletes Commission member Allyson Felix, who has 7 Olympic gold medals and 14 world titles to her name. 2 love hearts were also sent by 17-year-old Raisa Leal, the Brazilian Olympic silver and bronze medalist and 2-time world champion in women's street skateboarding. The love for Williams was also shared by one of the greatest tennis players of them all who played a big part in the 5-day extravaganza in her home locale of Palm Beach, Florida, finishing with the wedding on December 19. Of course, it's Venus' sister Serena Williams, the 23-time Grand Slam singles winner and 4-time Olympic champion who evolved away from tennis in 2022. My sister's keeper. Venus, where do I even begin? From the backyard courts to the biggest stages in the world, you've always led with grace, strength, and a heart bigger than any trophy, wrote Serena on Instagram. Watching you step into this next chapter surrounded by love felt like watching the sun rise, steady, powerful, and full of promise. When Venus Williams pressed share, the world paused, if only for a heartbeat. The photos arrived softly, without fanfare, glowing with warmth rather than spectacle. A second wedding ceremony, intimate and sunlit, framed not by roaring stadiums or flashing scoreboards, but by love, laughter, and the calm confidence of a woman who has spent her life mastering both power and grace. Almost instantly, the sports world leaned in. Venus Williams has always moved on her own terms. From redefining strength and style on the tennis court to shaping conversations about equality, fashion, and longevity, she has never rushed to meet expectations that weren't her own. So it felt fitting that her second ceremony, shared quietly through a series of carefully chosen photographs, was less a headline grab and more a gentle invitation. Come celebrate this joy with me. A different kind of victory. The images told a story without words. Venus, radiant and relaxed, smiling in a way that felt unguarded. The setting, elegant yet understated, suggested intention rather than excess. This wasn't about proving anything. It was about honoring something. Within minutes, reactions poured in from across the sporting universe. Serena Williams, her sister, her rival, her lifelong partner in greatness, led the chorus. Her response was simple and heartfelt, full of pride, humor, and that unmistakable sisterly warmth that has carried them both through decades of pressure and triumph. Fans read between the lines. This was love that had been witnessed, supported, and celebrated long before the camera ever clicked. Other tennis stars followed quickly. Legends and rising stars alike chimed in, many noting how very Venus the ceremony felt, elegant, powerful, and deeply personal. Some commented on the way she carried herself in the photos, not just as a bride, but as a woman fully at ease with her own story. Beyond tennis, a sporting family responds. What made the moment remarkable wasn't just the reaction from tennis. Athletes from basketball, soccer, track, golf, and beyond joined the celebration, reminding everyone that sport, at its best, is a family that stretches far beyond lines on a court. A basketball superstar posted a message about championship energy, calling Venus's joy a reminder that the greatest wins don't always come with trophies. A world-class sprinter commented on the stillness in the photos, saying it felt like the calm after a lifetime of races. Even athletes known for their bravado responded with tenderness, offering congratulations that felt personal rather than performative. This wasn't obligatory applause. It was genuine affection. Venus has long been admired not just for what she achieved, but for how she achieved it, through persistence, self-belief, and an unshakable sense of dignity. That reputation echoed through every reaction. Again and again, fellow athletes described her as an inspiration on and off the court, a phrase so often overused that it risks losing meaning, except here, where it felt undeniably true. The meaning of a second ceremony. The phrase, second ceremony, sparked curiosity, but Venus didn't rush to explain. And perhaps she didn't need to. In many cultures and lives, second ceremonies aren't about correction, they're about reflection. They're a pause to say, now that we know more, now that we've lived a little, let's choose each other again, this time with even clearer eyes. Friends and fellow athletes seemed to understand this instinctively. Several noted how powerful it was to see a woman who has spent decades under scrutiny claim a moment that belonged entirely to her. Not for branding. Not for validation. Just for joy. A former tennis champion wrote that the photos felt timeless, like they could belong to any era, which might be the highest compliment one could pay Venus Williams. Timelessness has always been part of her magic. Fans feel like guests, not spectators. Perhaps the most striking part of the reaction wasn't the number of comments, but their tone. Fans didn't behave like distant observers. They spoke like guests invited to witness something meaningful. Many wrote about growing up watching Venus, learning what strength looked like through her serve, what resilience looked like through her comebacks. Seeing her in this new chapter felt, to them, like watching a beloved character finally reach a well-earned moment of peace. Others focused on representation, on how Venus has always expanded the image of what a champion can be. Athlete, entrepreneur, advocate, and now bride, on her own terms in her own time. The photos became more than wedding pictures. They became a mirror in which people saw possibility, that life doesn't have to follow a single script, that love can arrive and be celebrated in many forms, that there is beauty in choosing joy when you're ready for it. Quiet power, loud impact. Venus Williams has never been the loudest voice in the room. Her power has always been quieter, steadier, rooted in presence rather than proclamation. That same energy radiated from her wedding photos, and from the reactions they inspired. No dramatic captions. No oversharing. Just a moment offered sincerely and received with overwhelming warmth. In a sports world often obsessed with youth, speed, and constant motion, Venus's second ceremony felt like a reminder to slow down, to savor, to honor chapters not for how flashy they are, but for how true they feel.